أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. We had started discussion. We were discussing during last couple of weeks, Surah 94, Alam Nashra, and I had concentrated on ayat number 7 and 8 mostly. Then during the last lecture, I had come to conclude, and as a part of that discussion which took place last week, today we are going to finally conclude the remaining part of the surah. For now, we are discussing the entire surah at the same time in its entire context, in its entirety. We may keep the ayat in mind. Alam nashrah laka sadrak ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. Now this is the surah. Last time I had submitted that the expansion, the expanding the capacity of the intelligence center was for the purposes of explaining the revelation which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent through the Prophet. He had to explain it. He had to put it into practice. He had to set a model in practice. So all these different aspects required the expansion of the intellect. So if we kindly recall that Sadr here, Sadr, Sharh, and Zahr, and also the Wizr. These are all the words to be understood in a particular context. Shara of what? Shara of the message which was sent to the Prophet, and it had to be brought into Zuhur, Zahra. And when it was brought into Zuhur, when it was made public, to make public, it required further explanation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had sent the message precisely, concisely, and that needed explanation, and its simplification and its signification had to be explained, and it had to be put into practice. And it was a very weighty message, very weighty task. It was called by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself, Sakila. The message, the content of the message was very weighty. Wizr, the ministry, the mission of the Prophet was very weighty. It was Sakila, gravitating, it had a gravitating force. So all these things, all these entire vocabulary has to be understood together, and I'll go to the lexicon also to explain every word from that lexicon, because this is not my interpretation or my own understanding the word, it is from the lexicon. And that required, when it was put into practice, that required, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Wazana anka wizrak. I designed Wazar as the tailor master. He designs the cloth, how to cut it, from where to cut it, according to the design. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that I designed your intellect so that you can bear that weighty message. It was an intellectual message. I'll give the comparison. Other prophets were given different tasks, and for the task, according to the task, their capacities were increased, were enhanced. According to the situation, they required certain capacities. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has informed us in the Quran that He expanded those capacities. And here, since it is pertaining to the colon sakila, and that required explanation, that required practical exemplification, it required its signification to be exposed before the public. Therefore, the capacity of understanding, explaining, that was required, that was expanded. And then the problems which were involved with that, all those were removed, which were hindering the zahar, which were hindering the zuhur. They were all adjusted. They were all removed. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that along with that, it was not just that the Prophet was himself just preaching, but the preaching what? Preaching the word of God, preaching the name of God, preaching the message of God, and how to follow it. In return, as a consequence, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that I increased, I enhanced, I elevated your zikr also. Prophet, peace be upon him, as the Imam of human beings, not one people, not one nation, not one tribe, of all the humanity. And his zikr was increased, his zikr was enhanced. In history, it will remain permanently for all the times. Look at the following, which was created at that time, and it continues. Rafana laka zikraka. And then the factum. One of the facts of life, the factum of life, the principle of life has been explained in the surah. Inna mal usr yusran, along with the colon sakila, along with the weighty message, along with the wizr, which was very weighty, along with that, according to the principles of God, principle of God, which is the principle of life, it is a principle for life, that along with the difficulty, it's not that the ease follows the difficulty. Some people have translated like that. There's no such word here to follow. It is along with it, inherent in it, inbuilt in it. Inbuilt in the difficulty is its ease. If we understand the problem, then only we'll be able to solve it. The solution of the problem lies in understanding the problem. Ma'al usr. Within the difficulty, along with the difficulty, there is its ease, its solution. And it has been repeated. It is so important. So the difficult message which was sent to the Prophet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that in that difficulty of the message, there was an ease for the Prophet. Prophet himself says that salat, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has explained at various places, and we also feel that for some people it appears to be difficult. It may not be easy for everybody, particularly those who don't want to pray, who lack taqwa. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that those people those people who fear Allah, who are conscious of Allah, who are connected to Allah, and they come intentionally with attention for the prayer, it's easy for them. And the Prophet, peace upon him, says that he used to, whenever he used to come to prayer, it was a mirage for him. It is such a state of mind and closeness and connectivity with God that one can enjoy, one can feel, one can perceive the height of Miraj in his meeting with God. Prayer is a meeting with God. So here In the mal usri yusran, and I've given an example, even the prayer becomes easy. For the people, jihad became easy. For the people, giving the property in the way of Allah became easy. And it's not only easy in the sense, in this one sense only, but it is easy in the sense that it makes the entire system, the social system, the economic system, all the connected systems, they become easy to work. They work with ease with each other, interconnected, their interconnections work properly. In Mal Usra Yusran, in Mal Usra Yusra, this is the principle on the basis of which and for which the Sadr was made Shara to explain and to set an example. And this is followed by an order, ordainment. Now, an order is coming, imperative for the Prophet. And this is for everybody, for us also. For, therefore, because of the two things which have been explained above, one is Alam Nashra Laka Sadraka, the entire statement up to Allazi Ankada Zahrak, up to that, and then this principle, which is the principle of life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that because of these two things, therefore, fa, immediately it is following. It's not summa. Fa, iza farakta, when you are in a state of default mode network, I had explained it, I think, to some extent. When you are in the state of DMN, when you are farakta, in that state, fansab, reset yourself, set up yourself, reconnect yourself. And all these words, again, I'll come to explain from the lexicon. Fansab wa ila rabbika. Here, ila is also important. If it is changed with an, the meaning will change. It will become totally opposite. The wa ila rabbika farghab. Be raghib towards Allah. Psychologically, in your mood, in your mind, be inclined. Make it your part of your personality, your person, your perception, your thinking process, your habit, your culture, your character. Farghab. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whenever He selected any person for his job, for his ministry, for his wizard, Harun alayhi salam was selected as wazir to Musa alayhi salam. And Musa alayhi salam was selected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his work. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given examples that whenever he selected anybody for his work, istafa, select, for Maryam also, the same word has been used when she was selected. Istafa, for the leadership role, for the leader's role. Then not only that, the personal qualities and capacities of that person were enhanced, like Shara of Sadr. Not only that, the softwares were strengthened, Ayyadna bi Ruhim minna. Not only those things were done, but the entire universe, Malaika, forces, they were also made to work for the success of that person who was selected for a particular job. For example, for our Prophet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that Inna Allah Himself, wa malaikatihi, and His forces, His angels, His forces, the energies in the universe, they also support, yusalluna, help, yusalluna, ala nabi. The same word, salawat, has been used. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that on the mu'minun, I send salawat. So what is the meaning of salat? We have translated it as drood. Drood is not the word in Arabic. It is not the word in Quran. We have translated it in Persian, in Urdu, in different languages. Salah, Salah means actively, with all the warmth, to follow behind, with all humility, in submission, obediently, with all the respect, and in complete conformity, in conformance. Wasallimu taslima. Sallu alayhi. Wasallimu taslima. Follow obediently, step in step. Salah is like two camels, two horses running together, step in step, neck to neck. But one of them is following slightly behind. Sallu alayhi. Wasallimu taslima. In conformance, in conformity. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving an order here that Ya ayyuhallazina amanu. Those who believe. But those who don't believe, this is another order for them. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu, those who believe, who have come to believe, who have come to agree, who have signed the agreement. For example, when Ibrahim alayhi salam was given a certain task, even the fire was made to submit to his task during his trial. It worked for him. When Musa alayhi salam was given a task, even the sea was subjected to him. It gave away in time, on time, and he made it easy. The platform, Katodin Azim, hard platform like an island came up. It divided the water. And the people who had come with him, they were old, they were ladies, they were children, they were carrying loads. They could all smoothly on the Kratodin Azim hard surface, they walked over. They did not go down into the sea and then come up. The island had come up. Allah can make anything, everything, everything is possible for him. Musa alayhi salam said, when there was a rebellion, he said, Inna Maya Rabbi Sayyadin. Seen here shows that he will show us the way, he will make the way for us in time. It was so much synchronized in time that the Pharaoh, his forces, when they came following, they trailed in such a time with such a precision that by the time they were on the middle of the Qatod and Nazim, all the people who were Musa alayhi salam, they had crossed over. And when forces of Pharaoh were on the middle, it went down again. The island went down again. And this phenomenon takes place every day in the high seas, in the seas. 2013, there was an island which came up in near Karachi, near Bhidbaba. It remained there. Sometimes it remains there for days. Sometimes it comes up in Indonesia, everywhere in the seas. These phenomena take place. They come up for some time and then they go down. For some hours, for minutes, for days, they may come up permanently even. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the nature subservient, subjected the nature to the cause of the Prophet or the person to whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had selected. And here, for Musa alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that I had covered you with my muhabbat, my love, so that even Pharaoh loved him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that I had made you for my own task. I had manufactured you for my own task. When priests and the powerful people, the political predators, challenged Isa alayhi salam, Isa alayhi salam was strengthened right from the point, from the time of birth in his human genome, that he could speak, he could listen, he could understand. That was the strengthening of the rule, command. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself explained, يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الرُّوحِ قُلْ الرُّوحُ مِنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي. It is the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, software. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that when I nafakh this command, then the process through which the physical embryo has developed to a certain extent in 12 weeks, in 16 weeks, in the earlier days. When ruh is installed, nafakh, then it becomes human being and it starts growing like an embryo of a human being. And it was at that stage when the embryo was strengthened and Isa alayhi salam was strengthened. His capacities were strengthened. And for our Prophet, since he was given a different task, this task was different from other prophets. It was a Quran Sakila. It required explanation, difficult word, difficult, weighty word. It required explanation. And that explanation required expansion of the intellect. It was an intellectual task. And when we go to the lexicon, this will become more clear. Inna sanulki alayka qawlan sakila. He was told during the almost second revelation when it came to him. Sakila, gravitating commission. Call Sakila, so call commission. Commission is sent, for example, from the emperor to the king, or from the king to the governor, from the governor or king to the minister to do certain thing. Commission is a proclamation or a declaration giving some authority to do something. Colon Sakila, gravitating commission, which was very weighty. This required Sharhal Sadr. This will also become clear from the lexicon. And Wazal Wizr. In 23 years revelation, this was slowly and gradually devised, it was designed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us, informed us in the Quran that why I sent it in pieces. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has informed that people were asking the Prophet why a complete book is not sent to you in one go. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that I am reading it out to you in time, on timeline, according to the circumstances, according to the requirements. And Zahar, whatever had to become Zuhur, had to come into Zuhur, whatever had to be revealed, that was very weighty. People were turning against him. Whenever he was revealing something, making something, Zuhur of something, people turned against him. His own family, people of the same town, they turned against him. Now we come to the part of the lexicon. Faiza Farakt, I had interpreted it as DMN, the state where there is default mode network is activated. All other modes of or networking of the brain is closed. That is a stage when all other are closed, which is empty, vacant, void, devoid, destitute, unoccupied, and this synonym is khala, vacuum. When 16 modes are closed, discovered so far, they are closed. The 17th mode, the DMN mode, the Faragat mode, it opens automatically. And the psychiatry, the psychology shows, the science of psychology shows through experiments of 50 years, they are now agreed on this, that during that time of Faragat, one is able to retrieve from the memory, zikr. One is able to receive something from the cosmos, alka, flashes. One doesn't have any idea of the solution, but from nowhere he gets an idea. That is the state of faragat. One gets only in the state of faragat when he is completely free. body became devoid of soul. This word is used when one person dies. When body it becomes vacant, there is no soul within. That is the state. So when all other networks are closed, thinking, even thinking process is closed. And one is tabtila, connected with God. When completely open, God connects himself. And then one is when one is at layer, and now just to skip through, that is the state. When one applies attentively and intentionally applies oneself exclusively for God, that is the state. Even there is an ayat in Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that I will lakum sanafrug lakum ayyuha sakalan. I will myself apply this time veza farakta for you, to you. Exclusively, I'll apply myself to you. Allah has all the capacities. He can apply to everything at the same time. He is Kareeb at the same time to everything. He is present everywhere at the same time. Omniscience, omnipresence, omnipotence. Lakum, nafrug lakum. Same word is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala using for himself. It's not only that he is demanding from the Prophet or from us, he is using for himself. I'll exclusively apply myself to you. The faragu, make yourself vacant, free from anxieties of present state of existence as much as you are able to make oneself free from depression, to make oneself free from anxiety. What will happen? Tomorrow, whether I'll get something to eat or not. Shun away all these anxieties and matters of depression when one completely becomes vacant. That state is hayat. Not multitasking. One can do multitasking at the same time, one can do different things. But this state is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala demanding, where there's no multitasking, one has completely made himself vacant for God. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done himself. In Surah Ar-Rahman, he tells, then the faraga lil ibadat. What is the meaning of that? Faraga lil ibadat. He applied himself exclusively to the service of God, to the ibadat of God. He confined himself exclusively in the prayer. He contented himself with it exclusively. I will not read everything. I'm just exposing it from before you. Farag means vacancy. There's a vacancy for God. Freedom for God. From all business. It is contrary to shugul. Any business, shugul. Any event of business, any event of work, it is devoid of that. Cessation from an affair, any affair, cessation. Farig, faiza farakta. And then faiza farakta, fansab, for, immediately. It's not that now I'm farig, but I'll apply myself, connect myself, I'll create connectivity with God in the evening or at night when I'll go to bed. Fansab, for, immediately, following it. Therefore, for follows immediately. Fansab, set up, put up, set upright. Reset yourself as you reset your computer. Set up. Fansab. Set up or appointed for putting or keeping off any task which has been given, for example, to the administrator of a city or anyone, anything, in any office. any task which has been given to apply to the duty, to apply as a duty. He pursued his journey with diligence and energy. It's not only to funsub, to go for, to make a funsub, but it is with due diligence. Diligence and energy. All energies are to be converged. To strive, to labor, to toil. It's not just going leisurely for salah. So not as ordinary musallin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that they come to salah as musallin, they come to salah just to show. And according to the standard setup, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is setting it for the Prophet, to do it according to the setup standard, funsab. And it is not aimlessly. It has a goal. When the word nasb has been used, it has a goal. And it is within the dimensions, within the parameters, within the limits, according to the standards laid down. It is not that anybody's according to anybody's will. According to the Prophet's will is submitted to the will of God. The moment's will is submitted to the will of God. There are so many, and all it's above all preferences. Exclusively above all preferences. There are different aspects of meaning which are in this word, and all those apply here. Then Raghib, Faiza Farakta Fansab, Wala Rabbika, Farghab, become Raghib. Raghib, do it wishingly, with intention, desiringly. Desire it. It's not that there is some duty or task which has been placed and the burden has been placed on my head, on my shoulders. No, it is by my own choice. And I've selected it. I preferred it. Desired vehemently and eagerly. That is the element of Rugbat. Even it has a meaning of greed, greedily. And it has a meaning which reflects the opposite of it also. That is to avoid and abstain anything and relinquish anything which is undesirable. Here the desire is also pure, that anything else which is undesirable, which is not compatible with this desire, has to be shunned intentionally. Both these meanings. But particularly we are concerned with وَإِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ إِلَيْهِ Raghab إِلَيْهِ وَإِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ. If the un is used, the meaning will change. It will be opposite. Raghab إِلَيْهِ to إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ. He made petition to him. When you become Raghib to God, then what have you to do? What you have to do? You are in fact making a petition to God. I have come to God to make a prayer, and prayer is my petition. And how this petition is to be made before the Emperor of the universe? Address a petition to him, asking him, seeking him. Veza salak ibadi anni faini kareeb. Petition to him, seeking kullu yawmin huwa fi shan. He's there. You seek him. Everybody who needs Sahil, he is seeking, demanding from him. Go as a petitioner. Go as a Sawali. Go as a Sahil. Don't go arrogantly that I have everything. Nothing. Nothing is mine. Everything is his. He has given. If I need more, I have to ask him. He prayed to him, supplicated to him with humility, not only humility, but with abasement. These are the meanings which are layer by layer in this word, Raghib. Abasement with sincerity and earnestness and energy. Look at the depth of every word. How much we can translate. It's not possible to translate everything. To humble oneself in the petition. Ila illallahi arghab. It is in fact the another way of saying Waila rabbika farghab. Ila rabbika farghab. Ilallahi arghab. This is order. To God I humble. To God I humble myself in abasement. I humble myself, my own self, my own ego. And I make a petition because I am fakir. Rabbi inni lima anzalt ilayya min khairin fakir. Musa alayhi salam said this. Whatever you give me, anzal, whatever you give me, I am fakir. I am petitioner. I am sa'il. I am demanding. I need it. And there are so many, and it's not limited. In the state of being raghib, when illallahi arghab, it has no limits. It's ample, it's vast, it's open, it's wide. There are no limits for God. He can give you anything. You open your hands. Even two hands will be not sufficient to receive. And one should be so soft. Khashiyar Rahman creates the softness under the skin, in the mind, in the feelings. People start weeping. The tears trickle down. And by this, that is the state of mind which is the state to absorb, where it can absorb the message. It can perceive. It can feel. It can get what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving. One has to be in the receptive mode. This is one of the aspects of meaning of Raghib. He gave him what he desired. When we are in the state of Farghab, then one must be sure. Ila Rabbik. When one is in the state, he gave him what he desired or whatever he wished. Just one thinks and Allah gives. And there are many aspects this meaning. Lam, I am not going, it's a grammatical explanation. Shara, I've explained a little bit about it. I've taken already 45 minutes. So I think we may conclude this surah today with this explanation. Allah may accept it. Subhana Rabbika Rabbil Izzat Amma Yasifun wa Salamun ala al-Mursaleen walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك اللهم لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت فإنك يا ربنا تقضي بالحق ولا يقضى عليك. اللهم ادخلنا برحمتك في عبادك الصالحين. اللهم اخرجنا من ظلمات الجهل والوهم إلى نور العلم. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. اللهم اجعلنا ممن يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. اللهم اكفنا بحلالك عن حرامك وبطاعتك عن معصيتك وبفضلك عمن سواك. اللهم بفضلك ورحمتك أعلي كلمة الحق والدين. اللهم انصر الإسلام وعز المسلمين يا أكرم الأكرمين. Oh Allah, spread your mercy upon us. Shower us with your blessings. Increase our knowledge, grant us forgiveness, and reward us with the company of the prophets in the Firdaus al-A'la. Oh Allah, purify our hearts, strengthen our faith, increase our knowledge, and make us benefit from what you have taught us. Oh Allah, forgive our parents and all our friends and relatives who have passed away. Oh Allah, make their graves garden from heaven and grant them the Firdaus al-A'la. Oh Allah, we have many of our friends and relatives who are sick. Oh Allah, grant to all of them full and speedy recovery. Oh Allah, guide our children, protect them, and make them righteous. Oh Allah, grant us the power and the ability that we may be grateful for the favors you have bestowed upon us and our parent, and that we may do righteous deeds that are pleasing to you. Oh Allah, we seek from you all of the good, whether we know it or we don't. And we seek your refuge from all evil, whether we know it or we don't. Oh Allah, we seek refuge in you from incapacity, from laziness, from fear, from greed, from poverty, and from the torment of the grave. Oh Allah, we have many of our brethren who are living under oppression and injustice. Oh Allah, heal their trauma, protect their helpless, and grant them lasting peace and prosperities. Oh Allah, we ask with every name you have elected for yourself, that none of us leave this gathering, but his pains have been relieved, his worries have been removed, his debts have been paid, his weaknesses have been concealed, his sins have been forgiven, and his needs have been fulfilled. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير المرسلين. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.